Class of 2026, are you ready?
Yeah!
Awesome, so let's get this started. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, welcome to the commencement ceremony for Maui Prep, Class of 2026.
Please welcome soon-to-be graduate of the class of 2026 and the senior class president, Leah Burns, to present the senior class gift.
Aloha family, friends, teachers, faculty, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2026. For years, graduation felt so far away, almost impossible to picture. But now, after everything we have been through together, we are finally here. We all thought that going through a pandemic during middle school would be the worst of it, but nothing could have prepared us for the fires that devastated Lahaina in 2023. These fires changed our lives in ways that words cannot fully describe. For many people, it's just a heartbreaking news story, but for us, it was personal. More than half of our class lost home, memories, neighborhoods, belongings, or the feeling of stability we once knew. Many families were displaced. Many of us experienced grief, fear, and uncertainty unlike anything we had ever faced before. Overnight, life changed. There were moments when it felt impossible to focus on school, sports, assignments, or plans for the future because we were simply trying to process what had happened. Some of us were separated from friends, some didn't know where they would stay, some were grieving places and memories that can never truly be replaced. But even in those darkest moments, our class showed something incredible. We showed up for one another. When someone needed help, people stepped in without hesitation. Classmates checked in on one another, shared resources, gave rides, donated clothes, offered comfort, and reminded one another that no one had to face anything alone. Teachers became sources of support and stability. Friends became family. In a time defined by loss, our community responded with compassion. That is what I will remember most about this class. Not only our resilience, but our heart. Every single person sitting here tonight has overcome something. Some struggles were visible, others were carried quietly. Yet, despite everything, we kept going. We continued showing up, we continued supporting each other, and together, step by step, we made it to this moment. I am so proud of the people sitting beside me today because I know the strength that it took to get here. This diploma represents more than academic achievement. It represents perseverance. It represents courage. It represents every early morning, every difficult conversation, every setback, every moment where we chose not to give up. Our class learned that strength does not mean pretending everything is okay. Strength means continuing forward even when life feels uncertain. It means asking for help when you need it and offering help when others do too. It means finding hope even after unimaginable loss. As we move into the next chapter of our lives, whether that is college, work, military service, travel, or discovering new paths, I hope we carry these lessons with us. I hope we never forget the importance of community, compassion, and resilience. Because if there's one thing this class has proven, it is that we can overcome hardship together. For some of us, this may be the last time we're on Maui, but remember, no matter where life takes us, Lahaina will always be a part of who we are. The strength, culture, and spirit of our home lives within every single one of us. Tonight, our class gift reflects that spirit. The class of 2026 has chosen to gift a steersman paddle, a symbol deeply connected to guidance, resilience, perseverance, and the continuation of moving forward, even through rough waters. A paddle is not just used to steer a canoe. It represents teamwork, strength, and trust in the people beside you. No one reaches their destination alone. This meaning felt especially important to our class. There were times when the waters felt overwhelming, when the future ahead seemed uncertain, but together we kept paddling forward. Together we carried one another, and just like the canoe crew must move in unity and continue ahead, our class leaned on each other to make it through some of the hardest moments of our lives. We hope that this paddle serves as a reminder to future students of the strength that can be found in community and perseverance. We hope it reminds them that challenges may test you, but they do not define you. What defines you is how you rise, how you support others, and how you continue moving forward. To my classmates, thank you for inspiring me every single day. Thank you for your kindness, your perseverance, and your courage. I cannot be prouder to stand beside all of you today. Congratulations, we made it together.
The senior class president always presents a gift, but rarely gives a full speech. Leah emailed me earlier this week, and she was like, "Here's my speech." And I was like, "Oh, senior class president as you usually do it." But then I read her speech, and I was like, "No, this has to be given." So thank you very much, Leah. And now let's welcome Maui Prep, soon-to-be graduate member of the class of 2026, giving tonight salutatory address, Anna Nguyen.
Good evening, friends. I would like to begin by extending my immense gratitude to our teachers who have seen us fail and given us the means to think for ourselves in this ever-evolving, chaotic, and wonderful world. To our college counselors for their endless all-nighters spent preparing us for the journeys ahead. To Uncle Juan for his unbeatable Taco Tuesdays. To my friends for cultivating my garden of happiness and love. To my brother, who is a wellspring of empathy and has an impeccable sense of humor. To my sister, who continues to shepherd me through my teenage years, even though I still steal her clothes. To my mom, for being my rock and supporting our family always. And finally, to my dad. First, for teaching me the literal definition of compassion in a car ride when I was 7, and then for spending every moment of his life demonstrating it. He's no longer with us, but I can only hope to emulate his grace as I myself go through adulthood. It really does take a village to raise a child. And I am lucky to have the best village around. Speaking of villages, or rather towns, it is an extraordinary privilege to say we grew up in Lahaina. Community is the bedrock on which our characters are developed. How lucky are we to have been shaped by a place with so much love, reverence, and resilience. There really is no place like home. Lucky we live Hawaii. But just as our community has made us into the people we are today, it is also incumbent upon us to give back in equal measure. If you want a village, you have to be a villager too. Because I am stubborn in my own right, but mostly because analogies work well to get us out of our own heads, I won't speak to you of people at all. Instead, I will tell you about ants. Army ants are blind. They use pheromones secreted by other ants in their colony to find food. But sometimes the lead ant encounters an anomaly. A predator shows up, or a human has put their foot in front of the ant. Something causes the ant to deviate from the path, and soon enough, every ant behind is also going in the wrong direction. This eventually leads to a death spiral, and the ants will continue running in a circle until they exhaust themselves and die. So how do they break free? A fungus called cordyceps, known to scientists as the zombie parasite, infects the ant and literally takes control of its body. From there, the ant becomes unreceptive to pheromone trails, and that is how it leaves the death spiral. What I'm getting at is our dogmatic tendencies, our desire to be right or die trying, are to our own detriment. We see death spirals in our democracy too. Our country grows more polarized by the day. Progress slips through the cracks when we focus on our disagreements instead of the issues for which we have an overwhelming consensus. I urge you then to be an ant. Become infected. For the enemy of community is dogmatism, the idea that I am not my brother's keeper, the notion that we could ever embark on this journey without the help of everyone we love and trust. Neither in death nor in birth could we escape community. A doctor delivered us into this world, and a mortician will see us on our way out. Oh, and by the way, shout out to our moms because they were also there when we were born. At the beginning of this speech, I mentioned that our teachers have seen us fail and given us the means to come back stronger, to think for ourselves. Our ambition rebounding in screaming color. On the stage with me are future doctors, lawyers, engineers, entrepreneurs, surfers. As we venture to become the best versions of ourselves, we will undoubtedly stumble when we take our first steps, trip over our own shoelaces, and run headfirst into a wall of our own making. If you find yourself wavering, remember the words of President Teddy Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who comes up short again and again. Should you falter, try again. Our dreams are a labor of love, and we must prune their branches to see them bloom in glorious green. Class of 2026. The train has left the station. The times they are a-changin'. The systems we have become so disillusioned with will soon be our generations to control. Whether or not you consider yourself to be politically active, you are undeniably a participant in our system of government, and certainly in our economy. If you are not sitting at the table, you're on the menu. The onus is on all of us to construct a society in which our community is at the forefront, our environment is protected for generations to come, and the voices of the powerless are echoed in the halls of power. So much of ourselves is represented in the health of our democracy. When we are apathetic, power becomes concentrated in the hands of the few, not the many. We must remain engaged with our neighbors as stewards of community. We must build bridges when hate rears its ugly head. We must sprint across the lines that divide. And, should we stumble, our communities, our village, will be behind us evermore. As we depart now to serve our community, I will leave you with the immortal words of Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. This is your democracy. Make it, protect it, pass it on.
In the future, when you see Anna's name on the political ballot, you saw her here first and you know what to do. And now let's welcome Maui Prep soon-to-be graduate member of the class of 2026, giving tonight's valedictory address, Layla Merrill.
Good evening, friends, family, faculty, community members, and my fellow graduates of the class of 2026. I'm so proud to be standing here delivering this speech as valedictorian tonight. I don't want to make this speech cliche, but I'm pretty sure that's an impossible task, but I have to offer gratitude first. To the teachers, thank you for your passion to help us learn and perpetuate knowledge. Thank you to those who lead the school, without which we would not have the opportunity to be here at this celebration today. Thank you to our parents who support us through thick and thin. I want to take a moment to offer appreciation for my parents, Mark and Alexis, who I can confidently say will help me at every moment, dream, event, and time of my life, at my highest highs and lowest lows. I love you guys. I want to thank my mom for enduring the 10,875 times I've said "can we go" at any event, and who was my tutor in every math class I took. I also want to thank my dad, who patiently answered my questions about the real world and the big scary loans, taxes, and insurance policies. It is nearly a month ago when I learned that a voided check is literally a check with the word void on it. So thanks for answering life's hardest questions, Dad. And thank you to the class of 2026, who, by the way, is making history as the biggest class to ever graduate from Maui Prep. I loved witnessing our class grow closer and make memories along the way. And I also want to give a shout out to my best friend Sloan, who pushed me to excel and inspires me every day with her wit, talent, and ambition. Today I want to talk about the alphabet, from A to Z. I once read a quote that went something along the lines of, "Every book is just the same letters rearranged, yet the books are so vastly different." Yes, when you think about it, it is quite an obvious statement and not profound at all. However, I thought it was so applicable to our journey as graduates tonight. One of the first things we are taught in school is the alphabet. As I would pass the preschool classroom on my way to classes, I would always look at the letter of the week posted on the boards outside. At this age, we learn the basics of letters and how they apply in life. We learn that F stands for friend, P is for play, T is for teacher. We all need 26 letters to tell a full story. Imagine how super sad a world would be without the letter S. It would be ooper ad. Soon we step into elementary school, where the letters get bunched together to make words. Then we take the words and make sentences. Sentences that are super profound, like "the fat cat sat on a mat," a classic. In these years, we may misspell words, and we definitely will not know the difference between there, and there, or your and your, but the letters still express what is needed to be shared. In middle school, our vocabulary and knowledge grows, and we begin to write paragraphs. We give presentations with very large trifold boards and do research papers. And here's where it gets even more complicated and mind-blowing, because not only are letters used in English class, but they are also used in math equations. X and Y are truly much more versatile than you think. Soon we will write essays, short papers reflecting on a text. The words that we write are based on other people's work, however. We look at how Ernest Hemingway personifies the ocean in The Old Man and the Sea, or how Shakespeare uses similes and metaphors in Romeo and Juliet. Now, as we are graduating, we are no longer writing essays about if Hamlet is enlightened or mad, or calculating Lady Macbeth's culpability. Instead, we are writing our own story. We learned literary devices and rhetorical choices, and now we can apply them as an author. The letters from preschool are stored in our toolbox, ready for us to write our own novel. Everyone's book will be different, even though we were all taught the same alphabet, grammar rules, numbers, and literary devices. Some of us may choose to use the Oxford comma. I will never not use it. Mr. James knows. While others may abandon punctuation altogether. Some of us may write our stories through alliteration and metaphors and symbolism, while other stories may be plain. The way we use our letters will result in quite opposite stories. Some with book titles like The Plane to New York, written by Kai DeProza, or Same Girl, Different Island by Sasha Salem. These next few months will be scary, exciting, emotional, inspiring, and anticipated. Don't overcomplicate it. Take it one letter at a time, which is something we have been doing every day for the past decade. These past 4 years were all about GPA, NHS, AP, MIL, and SAT. These next 4 are all about BYU, UH, GCU, and SDSU. I can't wait to see how we spell out our story. Zoltan might go on to the WSL, or Sadie will become the CEO of an amazing business, or Callie will become an RN, and Anna will go on to get a PhD. No matter how we may use the letters we know to form our novel, remember what you learned here at MPA and get ready to write your own story. Chapter 1 begins right now. Cheers to the class of 2026.
Great job, Layla. It is both an honor and a privilege to introduce this evening's commencement speaker. She serves Maui Prep and its students in a variety of ways and has had a significant impact on our community in her 5 years at Maui Prep. As selected by the class of 2026, please welcome one of Maui Prep's beloved upper school teachers, Miss Jessica Lucia.
Hello. Uh-oh, this microphone's a little short for me. There we go, that'll solve that. Okay. Thank you so much for choosing me to send you off. It's an honor. I actually remember my own graduation so clearly. I was imbued with this electricity of new liberty, and it was in this spirit that I shaved my head. Some of you guys know that story. Yes, I did. You can laugh. And, despite what everybody else said, I still contend that it looked good on me, okay? But I actually share this hilarious story with you to illustrate something that is quite remarkable when you think about it. Because despite the fact that not a single person in this audience tonight was there to witness my 18-year-old self-determination or temerity or whatever that was, including my husband, you are all imagining what I look like with a buzz cut right now. Or maybe you're imagining what kind of wild teenager I must have been. Imagination, it is powerful and it is important. And it gets a bad rap because we use it to describe fantasy and delusion. We say things like, you're just imagining things, or that's a figment of your imagination. It also is something that is inherently thought of as childlike. By the time we become adults, imagination is all but left our vernacular. But I think we should continue to be imaginative people, because imagination is a misunderstood component of the furnace of intelligence. I think we should continue also, not just because I think we should all be more creative around here. You don't have to be an artist to be imaginative. Albert Einstein said that the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination, and I don't think he was much of an artist. What is imagination? The dictionary cites imagination as to form an inner image or idea that is not actually present to the senses. Ideas that don't require empirical data. It is also image-based. It is imaging. It is the ability to see with our mind what we cannot see with our eyes. Imagination does not reflect the reality of things right now. It is hope or faith. It is a time machine. It is the vehicle for visiting hard-to-reach places, overcoming impossible odds, visiting the people that we have lost, and joining others on their journey. And whether you realize it or not, imagination frames our existence. There is a reason that architects use blueprints and that icons appear on signs. Even literature has a visual structure on the page because images guide us and they tell us what to think. We are creators of images and we are consumers of images. We hold images of ourselves that draw boundaries around what we think we're capable of. We hold images of our world that direct our purpose and what we believe is possible. There is something miraculous about being able to picture things that exceed our known universe and allow our theories to travel ahead of our instruments and our bodies. If we can imagine supernovas, mitochondria, and Studio 54, we certainly can image our way beyond present circumstances. It sounds like a supernatural ability when I say it like that, but the results speak for themselves. History was moved by people who imagined something other than what they experienced every day. On this very day, 250 years ago, the Second Continental Congress met in Philadelphia to discuss how to navigate a war with an unconscionable aim. And just a few weeks ago, on April 28th, King Charles III addressed Congress and aptly described our founding fathers as bold and imaginative rebels with a cause. Their imagination changed the world, undoubtedly. What is yours changing? What are you imagining lately? What are you filling your head with? Are you worried about your chances? Are you afraid you won't be good enough? Be careful and be intentional about what thoughts you allow admittance into the most exclusive room on the planet. Stop imagining the worst. Stop imagining things that make you feel insignificant or like giving up. And perhaps most importantly, don't let your phone hijack your imagination. Yeah. Technology has already disrupted your relationships. It's already robbed you of your time and your talents and your attention, but it has started to influence what we want in this world. Our phones have started influencing the images that populate our mind. And I include myself in this call to action because I like to read the news and watch dystopian films, but after a while, the world that I'm imagining is not a good one. Technology has taken so much from us. Do not let it take your imagination too. Instead, remember that the pathway from impossible to possible is the audacity to imagine it first. To use your imagination to lift you up and lift you out. Don't just see with your eyes for today, see with your mind for tomorrow. Our imagination is a place to be completely at liberty. It is a gift, and it is ours. And if we can have an imagination that is strong enough and wild enough and potent enough, then even those around us will start to see the image that we hold for ourselves. I want to leave you tonight with a story, and before I get into it, I just want to take a second and say that most of the kids up on this stage today only made it this far because they have stories that sort of echo this one. So here it goes. Many years ago, a little boy heard about this new private school in Napili called Maui Prep, and he started imagining it. When he shared a desire to attend with his parents, he found out that there were sadly too many reasons that this was impossible and it could never be anything more than the fantasy of a child. But his imagination would not quit. it grew and it turned into vision and dream and hope, and he was telling everybody about it constantly to anyone who would listen. By happenstance, he struck up a conversation about it with his grandfather's health practitioner while they were in haiku. And surely there were more important matters to discuss that day, like how to mitigate fear or how to mitigate pain. But all that this little boy wanted to know about was how he could go to Maui Prep. The doctor felt compelled to give the phone number of somebody named Shoemaker to this little boy, who then put him in contact with Kathy Miyanami in the admissions office. Now, just imagine with me for a second, everyone just imagine what happened when an 8-year-old boy called the admissions office and voiced an interest in going to Maui Prep. That phone call set off a series of events that brought him to school here. You knew that's where I was going. And through tremendous sacrifice and years of contention, it actually brings us to today. Because that child was Caleb Chumley, Taya's eldest brother. The impossibility of going to Maui Prep was an adversary that the family had to fight against for not just one child, but for 3. For not just Caleb's 4th grade year, but for over a decade. It was not easy, and it almost fell apart many times, but Caleb's imagination became our own. It was a vision that was adopted by many, many people, most notably Renner, Taya's older brother, and then, of course, Taya. It was also adopted, of course, by his parents and grandparents who bent over backwards to make sure that they kept going here. And yeah, the school became a believer too. All 3 Chumleys not only reaped the rewards of a Maui Prep education, but they also leveraged it as a springboard to attend Notre Dame, where Caleb graduated from last Sunday. He's out there somewhere, I don't know. Our venerable student body president would not be on the stage today had it not been for the imagination of her brother Caleb 14 years ago. And that is the kind of imagination that I think we could all use a little more of. Thank you.
Whew. At this time, it's my pleasure to invite to the podium Dr. Zamora, Maui Prep's academic dean and counselor.
I'm proud to announce this evening that the class of 2026 is launching into an exciting future filled with ambition, opportunity, and adventure. Of our 30 graduates, 29 will be continuing their educational journeys at colleges and universities across the country, while 1 graduate will be pursuing his dream of competing professionally on the World Surf League qualifying series. This is an incredible achievement that reflects the determination and passion of this remarkable class. Please refer to your program for a complete list of colleges and post-graduation plans. I am also proud to share that this senior class received 144 offers of admission to colleges and universities, with an outstanding 94% acceptance rate, a truly impressive accomplishment. In addition, the class of 2026 earned more than $9.7 million in scholarship awards over 4 years. Congratulations to the extraordinary class of 2026. Your futures are bright, and this is only the beginning. Now, it is also my pleasure to recognize our graduates who are graduating with honors this evening. Graduates, please stand and be recognized when your name is called. Students graduating cum laude have earned a cumulative GPA of 3.7 to 3.99 throughout high school and have attended Maui Prep for at least 4 semesters. They have been awarded bronze cords for this accomplishment. These students are Isaac Goodrow, Noah Richard, and Delilah Winston. Students graduating magna cum laude have earned a cumulative GPA of 4.0 to 4.29 throughout high school and have attended Maui Prep for at least 4 semesters. They have been awarded silver cords for this accomplishment. These students are Finley Royer, Mackenzie Clarion, Sasha Salem, TJ Heeman, Keiki Dahman, Noah Shevland, Ariane Chacon, and Jack Leone. Students graduating summa cum laude have earned a cumulative GPA of 4.3 or above throughout high school and have attended Maui Prep for at least 4 semesters. They have been awarded gold cords for this accomplishment. These students are Leah Burns, Sadie Stafford, Abigail Ankney, Dylan LaPrade, Sloan Euchre, Sophia Malari, Stella Garnier, Kylie DeProza, Taya Chumley, Callie Lagenza, Anna Nguyen, and Layla Merrill. Congratulations. It is also now my honor to introduce the senior class advisors, Mrs. Jessica Lucia and Mrs. Jessica Merrill, who will present the Faculty Merit Award.
The Faculty Merit Award goes to that member of the graduating class who, in the opinion of the upper school faculty, best exemplifies our vision for a graduate of Maui Preparatory Academy. As a faculty, we confer to choose the senior who best exhibits our 10 commitments to living aloha and has shown the most effort and the most growth over his or her years at Maui Prep.
Me again. All right, well, we've said many times that this is the largest graduating class in Maui Prep history, and yet there was very little deliberation about this year's recipient. It is a rare occurrence for a single student to shift the entire culture of their school. But this young man left a radical impact on the entire community. There are countless stories that I could interject here to illustrate his many qualities, but all of his success hinges on his magnanimous, grateful attitude. He emanates all of the qualities that we stand for here at Maui Prep: seeking challenges, taking the high road, always trying new things. But he never leaves anyone behind. He possesses an ability to spark that same gratitude attitude in everyone around him, even when facing his own challenges. His story is not without its rain clouds, but he has refused to let the hard things that have happened to him get in the way. He graduates today an athlete, an engaging speaker, a careful thinker, a developed writer, a legal witness and artist, a skater, a kendama slayer, a club starter, a drawing model, a camp counselor, a diver, a role model, and most notably, a friend. In his relatively short time at Maui Prep, he has become a pillar, and we cannot imagine Maui Prep without him. Join me in congratulating Maui Prep's student legend, Isaac Goodrow.
Thank you, Jessica, and congratulations, Isaac. What a special and well-deserved recognition. We are getting closer, everyone. I would like to invite Dr. Solis and Mr. Tim Heeman to the podium, please.
Please join me in welcoming up to the podium, he's already here, Mr. Tim Heeman. Tim, it is my pleasure to certify that each of the members of the class of 2026 has successfully completed the graduation requirements of Maui Preparatory Academy. As such, they have duly earned and are entitled to their high school diplomas.
As president of the Board of Trustees, I officially confer the Maui Preparatory Academy diplomas to each of the members of the class of 2026. I congratulate the members of the class of 2026 for achieving this milestone in their lives. And I also want to thank your parents, families, and Maui Prep's outstanding faculty for all their efforts to support you in this journey.
One year I forgot the diplomas in my office. I realized about 20 minutes ago and I ran up and got them. No, that wasn't this year, that was a couple years ago. 20 years ago in the ceremony. Well, here we go. This is the big moment we have been waiting for. All right, class of 2026, this is it. Remember to smile for the picture and cheer really loud, audience members. Abigail Lily Ankney. It's right there. Sway Wailu Bayo. Emmy Catherine Berman. Leah Marley Gray Burns. Ariane Jeline Chu Chacon. I remember changing this girl's report card in like 7th grade to straight F's, so she had a 0.0 GPA. Taya Nietzsche Medell Chumley. Probably one of the happiest guys I've ever seen on a basketball court. He looked like a middle linebacker than a basketball player. Mackenzie Hans Diego Clarion. Kellen Makahanohano Cordero Fernandez. Kellen, you got a fan club back there, bad boy. Kylie June Loomis DeProza. Keiki Keita Dahman. Stella Orion Garnier. Isaac Ellis Goodrow. See how long? Tim Heeman, you got the next one here.
Timothy Jack Heeman.
Sloan Kekai Mailie Euchre. Ava Nanea Ayumi Kawahara. Dylan Melody Laprade. Jack Stanton Leone.
Yes, sir. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you.
Callie Jean Lagenza. Sophia Nicole Malari.
Here we go.
Layla Merrill. Anna Nguyen. I don't think we've ever had such a forgetful class. Zoltan Alexander Poulsen. Noah Kai Richard.
Well done, buddy. Congratulations. Good job, Noah.
John James throughout the week said this class celebrates their W's. And you guys can see that tonight. They're so fun celebrating with each other. Finley Marie Royer. Sasha Chung Salem. Noah Larson Shevland.
Congratulations, Noah. Well done, buddy.
Sadie McKenna Stafford. Back in 8th or 9th grade, I don't remember which it was, she was in the principal's office undergoing some discipline, and I said, I cannot wait until you walk across this stage, not because we're happy to get rid of you, but because we're going to be so proud. Maya Ishel Thompson. Jonas Trey Vasquez.
Let's go!
And finally, Delilah Soleil Winston. All right, graduates, please stand. Let's do this together. Take your tassel and move it from the right side to the left side. We can cue the music. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure and privilege to officially present to you the graduated class of 2026. Faculty, if we could please stand and line the aisles. Graduates of 2026, you are dismissed.